Hi everyone, this is Selvi. Today's topic is who can cancel a sprint, why a sprint gets cancelled. So let's talk about the first part of the question. Who can cancel a sprint? Only product owner can cancel a sprint. The complete authority to cancel a sprint is only with product owner. So fine, we now know that product owner can cancel a sprint. But what are the situations? Why this cancellation process getting into picture? What are the possible situations and possible causes where this particular cancellation of sprint happens? Let's try to understand all the possible situations. First situation. Let's take an example of whatever the application we are building. We are building an application. Let's take the use case as something like this. We are allowing people to book a vehicle to travel from their residential place to airport and take a flight, and they can go to any other location or any other country that they have selected. So it is basically both taxi service as well as flight service for customers. This is the plan. So it is like a whole package. From the time you start from your home and you are actually reaching the airport, and from the airport you are taking the flight and you are reaching the other location, and from there also you will be able to give the address, so that it is like from your home to the place where you need to reach, you will be able to use the portal to book all the things. This is the use case. This is how the product goal was set. The product is to build such an application which is giving these kind of opportunities end to end, from the location where the customer is starting to the place where the customer is reaching. We are going to give the service, which includes taxi service as well as flight service. Here comes the catch. We started the sprint and we are working on these things also. And now there is a sudden change in the business that is happening. Business is coming up and saying, hey, that we are not going to get this taxi service related things. The reason is we are not getting the appropriate APIs that are going to give the information about the taxi services in different countries. Like for example, I am traveling from a country A to country B. In country A, I don't have any issues. I am able to get the APIs. But in country B, which all the taxis that we have, we don't have that APIs to provide that information. So there is somewhere a gap that business is feeling. So they don't want to take this entire solution in the portal at the very beginning. They want to take step by step. So now they are going to give only the option to book the flights and not the taxi service. So now we already started the sprint. Sprint is going on. Generally, what is a sprint? Sprint is a time box event where we will be committing as a team on a sprint goal. And to achieve that sprint goal, we pull some work items from the product backlog and put it and create it as a sprint backlog. We will be start executing the sprint and implementing these backlog items in sprint. Now, my business need itself got changed. And my business is telling our use case and our implementation, our solution itself is getting changed. So now, based on this, the product goal and the sprint goal also completely got changed. When I say product goal and sprint goal got changed, what is the meaning of executing that sprint? Because the end deliverable is no more a valid deliverable. Because the sprint goal itself becomes invalid now. So this is one situation where product owner has complete authority to cancel the sprint, because either sprint goal or product goal becomes invalid. So first situation, we got it. Simple thing is, in a nutshell, business actually found that whatever the product goal that initially which was picked up is no more valid. Because of that, the sprint goal also becomes obsolete. So we are in a situation to cancel the sprint. So product owner has cancelled the sprint. This is one of the situations where cancellation can happen. Second one, the technology related changes. What are the technology related changes? Initially, when we started the project, as from the architecture team also, we plan to go with Angular for the front end development. So we understood all the implementations are going to be with Angular, and we refined the user stories also in such a fashion, thinking that the technology what we are going to use is Angular, and we estimated, we did all the process thinking that this is the technology we are going to use. Now suddenly architecture team is coming up and saying, hey, we have a plan of changing the technology from Angular to React. But already sprint is in execution. We already started working. We started already implementing. But now this major technology change or the shift in the technology decision is making our entire sprint goal obsolete. Maybe we need to implement, but the way we are implementing has changed. That means it's not going to be beneficial because it's a major technology decision. And this decision we need to immediately put into effect, because if we start implementing or if we start writing the code in Angular, it may not be beneficial now because architecture has made a different decision to go ahead with React. So now we are in a situation to cancel the sprint. In such situations also, product owner will take a call that the sprint gets cancelled. This is one of the possible situation. Third situation, marketing team suddenly comes up and says some information which makes the entire sprint goal obsolete. What is that? Let's take a simple example here as well. Initially, when we were refining the user stories and we were planning the sprint, everything that happened before actually the sprint execution, we all were in the understanding as a team that we will be implementing login functionality of a user with the help of barcode. So with the help of the barcode, login functionality should work. And we also refined the user stories in such a fashion that we are going to have the barcode scanner in our implementation so that it will scan and get the details, and the login functionality will work based on that. So we have estimated according to that. We understood all the concepts based on barcode. And what we have done is also like we were able to log in with the help of the barcode. So we have estimated accordingly and we started executing the sprint also, and sprint is in execution. Now suddenly marketing team is coming up and saying, with the latest market study what we have done, the most trending topic is to go ahead with QR code scanner and not with barcode scanner. So we don't want the login functionality to be implemented with the help of barcode scanner. Instead, we want to go ahead with QR code scanner. Now comes the question, already we are implementing barcode related functionality in our current sprint, but it is no more useful. Now the complete sprint goal becomes obsolete because there is no usage that if we are implementing this barcode, because no one is going to use. Now, as the sprint goal becomes obsolete, product owner can very well cancel the sprint. So here it is because of the marketing team decision that the current trending topic is not at all aligned with the one that what we have already planned. So we want to change the entire functionality, which makes our current sprint goal obsolete, because of which we have cancelled the sprint. So there are three possible situations we have seen why cancellation of sprint happens. First one is if the sprint goal becomes obsolete. The business is requesting the product management team saying that the product goal or sprint goal is no more valid, then product owner cancels the sprint. Second situation, there is a big shift in the technology. We have selected a different technology, and now because of the changes that architecture team has suggested, we are going ahead with the different technology. In that situation also, product owner will cancel the sprint. Third one, marketing team has suggested certain corrections and certain trending topics which are not aligned with the already planned topics, because of which product owner cancels the sprint. So these are the possible causes where we will be in a situation to cancel the sprint. Complete authority to cancel the sprint is with product owner. I just want to quickly add one point before we close this episode. So we understood why a sprint gets cancelled, first thing, and who cancels it. Fair enough. Now there is a question. I have a sprint backlog. My sprint is getting executed, which means I have a sprint backlog. There are so many changes that are coming in from business, from product management. Priorities keep changing, which means sprint backlog that is already under execution is going for a change. That means product owner should go ahead and cancel the sprint? Answer is definite no. Product owner will not cancel the sprint because of priority or scope changes. That is why we discussed an episode which is called a scope change. So always remember, the possible causes of cancelling a sprint is entirely different. In that case, the sprint goal becomes completely invalid. That is the situation product owner goes for a cancellation of sprint. In situations where we want to certainly take some work items from the sprint backlog and push some work items in the sprint backlog, that is called a scope change. Scope changes will not make any cancellation of sprint. That is entirely different. So always remember, if there are priority changes or scope changes coming into the sprint backlog, will the sprint get cancelled? No, it will not get cancelled. It is just called as the scope change. We already discussed about what is scope change and how to handle scope change, and we still talk about scope change in our coming episodes also. Few more episodes I will be covering some of the topics related to scope change, but for understanding, please refer to that scope change related episodes also. It will be really interesting for you all. So here the topic is cancellation. So in cancellation, we should be very clear. Whenever the sprint goal is invalid, that is the time we will go for cancellation. I think we have covered what is the cancellation of sprint and what are the possible cases when the sprint get cancelled. I hope this episode would have helped many of you in understanding cancellation of sprint and who cancels it, and slightly what is the difference between scope change and cancellation as well. Thanks everyone for listening. Happy learning and stay tuned.